What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. It's been a minute. I missed you guys. We had a lot going on. We have a lot to discuss. European soccer's back. All the leagues are in full force. And, of course, we're here with the fam. Not the full fam, though. J-Fam, he's going to have to leave. He's here right now, but he's going to have to leave. But we do have Danny P on the ones and twos, as always, and our boy, Hype Man Vic. Hype Man, how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm also sipping on this other Overholt. It's a rye whiskey. It's I'm not even gonna try it. I just call it freaking at Matthew McConaughey mash. Whatever. I don't know. But rye whiskey sounds, it's really amazing, really smooth, and nothing special. Just a good old glass of whiskey, except I got a new glass, so let's do it. I'm ready to go.
I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, that was good. And some ASMR to go with it. Okay, well, like I said at the top, we got a lot to discuss. We're going through, of course, the match days that happened this past weekend, and we also got some to recap from last week's match days in the UEFA competitions. But before we get to it, let's talk about the Austin FC Minute. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be it. Cool. I feel like that is.
That's a cool segue and cool video coming soon, maybe.
No, there definitely is. We do have graphics in the works. But before we get to any of the life stuff, I wanted to talk about Austin FC because that kind of is the life stuff, right? It's home. So in case anybody doesn't know, season's not over yet. I think we have one more match left, and our coach Josh Wolf is he's fired. I don't know another way to put it. He is out. Yes, sayonara. And Vic, you're a resident Austin FC fanalist. You like that? So give us a little bit on it. How do you feel?
I'm kind of mixed on it. I think I'm a little mixed because I'm sad he was the first coach. He did take us to the playoffs once, but the rest of the 3 years we have not gone to the playoffs. So a little mixed, but I think it was time. And almost every kind of communication from Rodolfo or Josh is that this year was always about getting to the playoffs. So that was the goal. Getting the playoffs. It's said it since week one. And we didn't make it. And less than 12 hours after we were mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, Josh Wolf was gone. So yeah, that was the goal. He slipped up and now he's gone. So wish him the best of luck. He was our first. You don't forget your first. So we'll see what happens from now on. I did see in the press conference that Rodolfo said that there were 25, like at least 25 coaches that you could not believe that were reaching out to him saying that they come to Austin. Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to not know any of those 25. So be prepared.
He wouldn't give any kind of hints, but we'll see what happens. So
fair enough. The weirdest thing to me was the press conference after the last match with Coach Wolf. They were asking him about like his job in this season and blah blah blah, and he was just talking about how the way that he made it sound was that the board and everybody, they knew that with the squad that we had this season, that it wasn't going to be a team that was going to go far. Like they were just kind of like trying to make the playoffs. That was really it, but they didn't expect anything after that. Oh no, pause it, Daniel.
You're gone.
Yeah, and Coach Wolf was asked post-match about the season and expectations and kind of how it gone. And I found it really weird that he was talking about how it almost seemed like him and the board had meetings about how this season, at least how he put it, the squad was not to the level that they knew it needed to be. So it was kind of like a growth year. And to your point, Vic, they were talking about just making the playoffs. But like we didn't know that, with the fan base. I don't even think the players like we don't know that your goal is to be mediocre. So that sucks. But I think it is your the way you put it, right? That you always remember your first. And so yeah, that sucks. Plus the first thing that came to my mind is like, oh, little Owen's dad's gone. Like what happens? His dad is gone. Do we not have him anymore? I mean, not that he's like the best player ever, but still.
Yeah, Rodolfo. Yeah, he also talked about Little Owen Wolf and
he did? Wolfie?
Yeah, Little Wolfie. And he said, well, somebody asked him what's going to happen with Owen Wolf. He's like, nothing. And he said Owen Wolf is one of the best young American talents that we have, and that it was unfair how he was treated, how people were saying he's only in because his dad's the coach and everything. But no, like he's really good. He's really good. He's 20 years old. Like he's gonna be fine here. And
Okay.
so he wants to keep him. He wants to keep everybody, what he said, but I'm sure he has to say that because we have contracts for most people. But
Yeah, right.
no. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
But here's to you, coach. Appreciate it.
I don't know. Did I tell the story about how I met Johan Valencia on here yet? I don't know if I did.
I don't think
I can't remember. Yeah. Was at dinner at Arapitas in Round Rock. If you've never been, it's a Venezuelan place. Amazing, great food. And in walks Johan Valencia. And yeah, I kind of had like a fangirl moment. Fanboy, sorry. Whatever you want to call me. Fan person? I don't know. Sorry. That I botched that. Anyway. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He's a nice guy. And slowly but surely I'm meeting all of the team out in the wild. So that's pretty good. Okay. Well, that's enough for the Austin FC Minute. Too many questions that we don't have answers to. But if you're watching, Coach Wolf, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the great time. The second season was probably one of the most fun seasons I've ever had. And especially with Austin FC, obviously that was our best one. But man, that's what I'll remember. Even though we've had a few seasons that weren't so good, that's the one I'll remember. All the playoff games, what was it, Real Salt Lake, where we went into penalties?
Yeah.
And I mean, that was
Dallas too. I think it was Dallas too.
Some of the craziest atmosphere I've ever been a part of. So anyway, that was because of you, Coach Wolf. So thank you. And good luck wherever you go. I'll follow you. I'll be a fan of whatever team you go to. Okay. I think we're good. Now let's move it on to the Wrexham recap. Wrexham. I don't know the rest of the tune. There'll probably be a song for that one too. But just to let you guys know, this past weekend, Wrexham did play a match. They beat Northampton Town. James Clean gets 2 goals. Jack Marriott gets a goal. And Elliot Lee gets a goal. That's a 4-1 win, if you weren't counting, if I didn't say it already. And that leaves Wrexham at not the top of the table anymore because they did lose the previous match, but they're right under Birmingham, which is insane. If you think about where they were to where they are now, to be in League One underneath just one team, and that team is Birmingham, who shouldn't be there anyway. They've been in the Prem before. But anyway, crazy times. And I'm sure that it's going to be even crazier if this continues, which just seems so unlikely. But we're not calling it a fluke yet because they've obviously got promotions consecutively. But yeah, if they end up getting to the championship, holy shit. That's all I could say. But they are dominating right now. So, okay. We did those recaps. Any life stuff, Vic? I don't know if we've even talked about it a lot. You got the new room, moved in with your fiance. I got a kid coming up. Baby shower.
We're moving along, man. It's we're leveling up. We're going to the next stages and everything. So
the next stages of life.
Yeah.
That sounds very deep for this podcast, but it is true. There's a lot going on in our personal lives, but you know what's never going to change is the love and the coverage of the European soccer that we're bringing you. And so let's kick that off. Let's start off with a recap of La Liga match day 9. Hit that graphic.
Cool.
Oh, hey, yeah, there it is. Sorry. I had a delay on my end. Okay, so Friday night, we had Leganes and Valencia go 0-0. And in what was easily my favorite walkout of the season, and I'm talking about walking out of the tunnels, Espanyol traded kid mascots for dogs. Check it out. They beat Mallorca 2-1. So cute. So awesome. And in what was easily one of the most aesthetically pleasing matches of the week, we got to love the red and blue kits. It was so cool. Getafe and Osasuna go 1-1. Check out Ante Budimir. He's starting to get hot, I guess is the best way to put it. He's not on fire. Wait, on fire is 3, right? Like in that game. So okay, so he's on fire. He has 4 right now in consecutive games, I believe. But if not, he at least has 4 goals on the season, and he has 3. I know that much in his past 2 matches. In his 2 matches. Anyway, Ante Budimir, he's very good. I believe. You know what? I'm not going to be mean to him. He's very good at soccer. So, And next up we had Vic's Volidoli. They lost a heartbreaker to Rayo with an 80th minute dagger to give Rayo all 3 points. This one ends 2-1 to Rayo. Celta Vigo get a routine 1-0 win over Las Palmas, like most people do. And just when we think Villarreal are for real, they lose to Real Madrid 2-0. And that's 2 L's in 1 draw against the Spanish Big Three. So Madrid, Barcelona, Atleti. So they have no positive. Well, I guess a draw against Atleti is a positive, but still, they are going to beat up on the lesser teams, but they just aren't title contenders. You have to get some more points out of those matches if you're going to tell me that you're going to be up there. And I was hoping they would, but you know what? Check out the goals in that match because Real Madrid, they like to score. They're getting hot, and their goals were awesome in that one. So that moves us to Sunday, where Girona get a 2-1 win over Bilbao. And Gazzaniga for Girona, I believe he was an ex-Spurs backup keeper to Hugo Lloris. He saved a hat trick of penalties on the day. How does that happen? How do you save 3 freaking penalties? Well, that's because Bilbao really, really should have won this one. It ends 2-1, like I said, to Girona, but Bilbao, I mean, come on. You missed 3 penalties. That's insane. Of course, one was a retake, but still, he saved one, had to retake it. He saved it again. Stupid. Barcelona get back to their winning ways against Alaves via a Lewandowski hat trick. This one ends 3-0 to Barcelona. The battle for Seville was bumping, and Sevilla come away victorious. This one ends 1-0 to Sevilla over Betis. I could only imagine what it's like to be in that crowd in Seville. It seemed like an awesome time. And your La Liga headliner saw Real Sociedad go 1-1 with Atletico Madrid. And check out the goals in this one. If you don't do anything else, check out the goals in this one. Suchit's goal was insane, and Griezmann had an assist that was just chef's kiss. Perfect. It was sensual. It was like, you know what I mean? It was a boner ball, if you will. Right, Vic? That's what we call them? Okay.
That's what you call them. Yes, that's what you call them.
That's what you call them. All right, fine. And that was it for the match day 9 in La Liga. Vic, what does that mean for the table?
Yeah, the table's shaping up just like almost anyone would think. Once we get that up, Barcelona is in the lead with 24 points. Just behind them is Real Madrid. Surprise, surprise, with 21 points. And then tied for third and fourth, I guess, Atletico Madrid and Villarreal have 17 points apiece. So all in, we'd be going to Champions League right now if the season ended. People definitely not go to the Champions League. If we take a look at the bottom with 6 points in 18th place is Valencia. Right underneath them is my Volidolis. I know they're called Valladolid. I just called them Volidolis one time for the people in the comments saying, what the hell are you saying? Volidolis. Sorry. Valladolid.
It started that way, though. We were all that way. Like, what the hell were you saying? But yes, Valladolid.
Yeah. Valladolid. I know they're Valladolid. With 5 points, unfortunately, and holding up the table at the base. Las Palmas was just a measly little 3 points, but still a beautiful place, apparently. So, and it shapes up still going forward.
I don't know if you had this conversation. I think it was just Daniel and I. Danny P, the producer. Apparently, his family owned San Antonio, and they're from Las Palmas. So one day we're gonna have to go to Las Palmas to see a match. It might not be in La Liga. They might be in the second division or third, but we will go see Las Palmas with Danny P to say what's up to his ancestors. That would be pretty dope. And because we have a whole lot to cover today, we're just going to have 2 talking points for each one. The first talking point I have for La Liga is let's discuss Sevilla. They seem to figure things out a bit, unlike Valencia we talked about a couple weeks back. Sevilla have now won 3 of their last 5 matches in La Liga, and they do have Barcelona up next, which is almost a guaranteed loss. But after that, 3 of the next 4 matches are against teams that are 14th in the table or lower, with the 4th highest team in that out of those 4 being Rayo Vallecano, which they're 8th. But I mean, no offense to Rayo, but I don't think that Sevilla are too scared of that team. And if they can somehow get a point from that Barcelona match, I feel like they can get hot and they can rattle off a few wins. And then we forget all about how Sevilla struggled so early this season, which is the beauty of having this league, the beauty of soccer. And going to the next talking point, it's kind of crazy to talk about the potential breakouts of a few teams that are sitting at 17th and 16th place in the table. But Leganes and Getafe, I was researching for this show, and something piqued my interest for them. So at the bottom of La Liga, at the bottom of the La Liga table, starting at 11, there are goals allowed that start here. Watch 12, 10, 15, 13, 8, 7, 9, 13, 19, 17. So obviously there are 3 teams at the bottom of the table that have let in a lot less goals than everyone else. Now the 8 is Real Sociedad, and I think we can all agree they're probably not going to be at the bottom of the table. But the two other teams that have only allowed 7 and 9 goals respectively, those are Getafe and Leganes. So when you look at the bottom of the table and you're surrounded by teams that have let in double the amount of goals you had, I mean, ridiculous amounts of goals. These teams are built defensively, and my boy Vic, he likes that defense. So I feel like these teams, Leganes and Getafe, can really start to come on to the scene, and if they can score more goals. Now, I don't have the advanced metrics. I don't know if they are just not scoring at all, or if they're not getting lucky, or expected goals, right? All of these different metrics there are nowadays. I don't have those. All I'm looking at is that the teams around them have let in 12, 10, 15, 13, 19, 17, 13 goals, and they've let in 7 and 9. So it's just insane to see that. And if they can get lucky a couple times, I mean, you might see them shoot up the table. They haven't done it in the past. They don't have a track record of doing it. But I just felt that was interesting. When you're looking at the table, you see something like that. It just stood out to me. So good luck to Leganes and Getafe. Let's see how they do going forward. Okay, that is it for La Liga. And again, this is the abbreviated version this time around because we got a lot to discuss. I know I keep saying it, but we do. So Vic, let's move on to Serie A.
Let's do it.
Okay. Serie A. We had Napoli on Friday. We had Napoli get it done against Como 3-1. Como had a tremendous first half, but they just don't have the firepower to keep up with Napoli for 90 minutes. Verona took advantage of their get-right spot as they beat Venezia 2-1. They stopped their 3-game losing streak. Saturday, Udinese beat the Milkmen 1-0. Zamora's free kick was the difference here as Udinese stopped their losing streak at 2 games. And the AT Aliens of Atalanta destroy Genoa 5-1, with Retigui stealing the headlines in this one as he gets a hat trick and an assist against his former club. Atalanta really needed this result, and they got it. They destroyed Genoa, which is kind of sad. Torino go down to 10 men in the 20th minute, and Inter get a 3-2 win fairly easily. 3-2, it was a domination, even though it was 3-2 at the end. Sunday, Cagliari and Juventus draw 1-1, with Consensao getting sent off late with a second yellow for diving. And I know that,
Good.
Right. That was it. There you go. We'll just sum it up like that. Good. It was a blatant dive, and he had a yellow already. And so it was like, okay, is he really going to give him? Yeah, he did give him a yellow because it was blatant. Anyway, deserved and simply good. Our Lazio take down the mighty and previously unbeaten Empoli 2-1. Juve, Roma, Bologna, Fiorentina, none of them could beat Empoli, but you know who did? Our Lazio, baby. Right. Bologna and Parma go 0-0. Monza and Roma go 1-0. And our Fiorentina, get a 2-1 win against Milan in a match where De Gea looked like a brick freaking wall, blocking 2 penalties. And with him playing like this, those purple boys in Florence over there, they're going to be hard to beat. It's still crazy to see De Gea in goal for Fiorentina. And also, if you're keeping score, Pulisic, he scored again. He got another goal. Dude,
4 in a row?
Yeah, he's freaking
running. I might be wrong, but I thought that was 4 in a row. 4 games in a row.
I feel like I've said it for like ever. Every week he's getting at least a goal, maybe an assist too, but I don't know. Okay, well, with that, Vic, what does that leave us in the Serie A table?
Yeah, well, you got Napoli up top with 16 points, followed by Inter Milan, 14 points. Behind them is Juventus, my boy Christian, third place with 13 points. And our Lazio are also up there in the top 4, rounding out the top 4 with 13 points. And just squeaking in behind them in the fifth spot is Udinese. We brought them up earlier, so definitely want to give them their flowers. People who deserve no flowers at the bottom, Genoa I'll keep saying it, Noah. At 5 points at the 18th spot. And then battling for last place are Monza and Venezia with 4 points apiece. Venezia is trying their darndest because they have given up 12 goals already. So hopefully, let's see if they can keep up that form and stay at the bottom of the table there.
It's the Drake curse, man. It's the Drake curse. They're done. They're done for the season. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about Serie A. First, we're going to talk about Lazio. It's our team, our Lazio, and they're starting to hit their stride, which seems to be correlating with the start of European competitions. We know that Lazio love to be in Europe, and not just Europe. Obviously, they're in Europe, but they love to be in the European competitions. And here, check this out. Prior to the Europa League starting, they were 2-2-1 in Serie A with 9 goals for and 8 goals against. That sounds like a very mediocre team, if you ask me. But since then, since the Champions League, Europa League, all these competitions started, they have won all 4 of their matches with 12 goals for and 4 goals against. So yeah, there's definitely something in the air in the fall in Rome where they play, and they love it. They just clicked on for some reason, and they're starting to just dominate. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, they take on Juve in Turin next match, so that one's going to be freaking awesome. Juve are struggling as well, not in the table, just to get wins, I guess I should say. But it's going to be fun to watch that one because I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it this time last year that we were there?
Yep,
like almost exactly right. So
yeah, we were there at least the 3rd because that's when I proposed. So,
Mira.
Thank you.
I guess I should address too. I just saw myself in the camera. I was sick last week, so my eyes are red. You're not seeing things if you're watching this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with his eyes? Yeah, they're red. I popped some blood vessels. It was gross. Okay, now let's just drop it. All right.
He was puking, nasty.
Wow.
I think he was crying. His wife told me he was crying too. So
that's false. You just made that up. Right now. You just made that up right now. Okay. Next talking point for Serie A. We talked about how Conte's Napoli might be a dark horse for the Scudetto this season. They were dark horse candidate, and Conte always wins. He's always doing this stuff, except for Spurs. But I don't think they're dark horses anymore, Vic, because if I remember correctly, they were at the top of that table that you just go there, say it right there. I don't know. I had to say it like that, but I think they're probably going from dark horses to favorites right about now. And I mean, if you think about it, they're 5-1-1 with 14 goals for and 5 goals against. And if you remember back on the opening day, right? So they've let in 5 goals in all of their matches in Serie A. But if you remember on opening day, they lost to Verona 3-0. That means they've only allowed 2 freaking goals in the last 6 matches since that opening day fiasco. And with no European matches to worry about, no additional clutter for those. I was looking at the difference between like Juve's schedule and Napoli's schedule. And like in December and November, Napoli have like 2 to 3 matches less than the teams that have European matches. So, I mean, Conte is going to be able to just kind of bunker down and get people out there. But this is pretty cool. We'll see them tested, though, because at the end of October and in November, they have Milan, Atalanta, Inter, and Roma back to back. So it's going to be some fun times watching some Serie A. It's always fun to watch the bigs go against each other, but especially whenever we have like an unknown type of quality with Conte back in Serie A, this is going to be fun. But for now, until we hit the end of October, they might get a big enough lead to where even if they drop points, it doesn't matter. But yeah, man, Napoli are fun to watch right now. And obviously it's always fun to watch it's always fun to watch Danny P's favorite striker, Lukaku. That boy, love him some Lukaku. And he's banging them in right now. So, okay. Vic, anything else you talk about in Serie A?
Nothing I need to talk about. Go watch Christian Pulisic's goal. It was pretty. It was beautiful. Just nice little volley. Last volley on the side net. Beautiful.
Is it crazy? Like we've been to that stadium that he scored at too.
Yeah, I was thinking that because when he was running around, I was like, "Yo, I've been back there." I remember those weird little the stairs that go up, and then we couldn't go to our seats and stuff. So yeah, I remember.
And if you ever go, just know that you're not going to get your seats. You can. We stressed about getting the best seats we could find, and it didn't fucking matter because they don't do seats in that stadium. Apparently, they're just like, yeah, we just get a ticket and you just sit wherever you want. So okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will say, now I know we're going to go on for a second here, but the stadium, it looks like it's being worked on. I don't know if you got to watch a lot of it, but there's like a lot of like construction. You remember that far left side? There was construction going on right now. So I don't know. Let's go.
Yeah, and the stands were empty too. They sectioned off some of it. So I didn't know if they were doing something or what, but
you would have to imagine because
we got to go back and check.
A big team. Yeah, I know. We're going to go back and check it out.
Go back and check it out.
There, and I mean, this isn't a talking point on here, but we're going to make it a talking point for a second. With De Gea, the way they're playing is so much better than the beginning of the season. They might legit start to be a team. They're like the dark horse. Napoli is a favorite now. They're not dark horse anymore, but Fiorentina is probably going to be the dark horse now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good convo there, bud. Let's go to the Prem next. Is that what we have?
We got the Prem.
There we go. Okay.
He put the logo up, so we're going.
We're doing it. Saturday in the Prem, the first match, the early game, is a match where the Liverpudlians are basically just saying all that matters is the 3 points. Liverpool get a 1-0 win in London against Crystal Palace, in one that it felt like they were dominating, but the score doesn't reflect that, which is weird. Next, we have Arsenal got 3 second-half goals as they take care of business against Southampton at home. This one ends 3-1 to the Gunners. Brentford? Wow, way to American that up. Brentford scored early and often against the struggling Wolves, a team that they just beat 5-3 at home. And man, Wolves have a lot to think about, and they're probably going to be looking for a new coach coming soon because that's what they always do once they struggle. Not Wolves, just everyone. Okay. City beat Fulham 3-2 in an entertaining one. There's some great goals in that one. Highly recommend checking them out if you haven't seen them. City always put on a clinic. That one was just a fun one to watch. Probably one of the more fun matches that I saw this weekend in the Prem because there was another one that ended 3-2 that I didn't like. But we'll talk about that more in a second. West Ham found the remedy for their struggles in the form of an Ipswich team that hasn't won a match yet in the Premier League. This one ends West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. Leicester get off the mat with their first win of the season as they beat Bournemouth at home 1-0. Everton and Newcastle go 0-0, and we can't talk about it a lot, but what I will say is that this is a good thing for Everton. I mean, Newcastle is a great team. So, yeah, that's awesome. Palace and United ends 0-0. We don't have to talk about that one. I have Palace. That's not Palace. They didn't beat Palace. Aston Villa. I don't know why I caught that myself. Look at my notes are messed up. Anyway, Villa and United ends 0-0. And those pesky trees from Nottingham hold on to get a 1-1 draw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And this one was crazy. I don't know if y'all have seen a lot of it, but Cole Palmer is a freaking weirdo. He's just a strange dude. So the teams, if you haven't seen it, they're like pushing each other and not fighting, but they're just getting into a tussle, little jostle. And everyone, the whole team's like the bench is clear, if you will. And Cole Palmer looks at all of this going on and then just sits on his ass and rolls to his back. He's just like literally sitting 5 to 10 yards away, just staring at what's happening. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, he's like, whatever's going on, that's got nothing to do with me. I ain't gotta do that.
Yeah, like, all right, y'all just let me know when we start the game up.
Yeah.
Such a weird guy. Anyway, he's really good at soccer though, so that's good.
And minding his business.
Oh, minding his business.
Just minding his business.
You gotta enunciate, bro. I thought I heard something else.
Sorry. I'm working on it very hard for you guys, I promise.
That's hilarious. I'll tell you off air what I heard. Okay. In the last match of the Premier League weekend, I didn't want to talk about it, but we have to. Another week, another defensive collapse for Spurs as they failed to keep their early 2-goal lead on the road against Brighton. This one ends with Brighton winning 3-2. And Vic, unfortunately, I have to ask this, but where does that lead the table? You can leave out Spurs. Just tell us where everyone else is.
Nobody's talking about the Spurs. It's okay. So at the top, again, all is right in the world. Liverpool at the number 1 spot with 18 points. Right behind him, Manchester City, of course, with 17. Arsenal also have 17 in the 3rd spot. And Chelsea rounding out the top 4 with 14 points. Aston Villa, I'll stop saying Villa. Aston Villa are in the 5th spot also with 14 points, so trying to sneak into the top 4 and get into the Champions League. At the bottom, you will not find Everton again, and that's a good thing for our boy Danny P. But you will find Crystal Palace in the 18th spot with 3 points, and then fighting for last place again is Southampton and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton. I keep saying Wolverhampton.
He wants to go to Wolverhampton so bad. I wonder if there is a Wolverhampton.
I don't know, but I keep saying it. It's just easier. So anyway, Wolverhampton Wanderers also have 1 point. And a lot, like I was saying, you know, Everton was able to get a win easily out of the bottom 3. The bottom 4 teams do not have a win. So they are just trying to just hold on. But if you just get 1 win, you're out of there. And, you know, we've seen these teams fight out of relegation by just getting 1 win. And that parity is starting to increase. So let's see how it keeps going as we go forward in the year.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Remember how, like, obviously saying the bottom of the table of any table to say that those teams aren't good is like, duh. But specifically in the Prem, they're really bad. Like, no points. Like, they're not even getting draws most of the time. They're just losing a lot. Anyway, it's still sticking that way. So I think we're going to be able to tell pretty early who are going to be the last, like, 3 or 4 spots that are going to be fighting out that promotion battle, relegation battle. Sorry. Okay. Some talking points. You know what? We have to do it. We have to do it, Vic. Let's talk Liverpool.
We get
Slotsmen. Oh yeah, sorry, we get to. Slotsmen have been on fire since their shocking 1-0 loss to Forest at home. They've outscored their opponents 16-3 in their 6 matches since that loss, and that includes wins over Bologna and AC Milan at the San Siro in the Champions League. We know that they got the firepower to trade goals with anyone, but they've only allowed 4 goals across 10 matches in all competitions, and nobody has scored more than 1 goal in a game against them yet. It's insane how good they've been this season, but the tests are coming in October and November, Vic. I don't know if you saw this, and I'm actually getting super excited for it. But between October and November, they play Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton twice, Leipzig on the road, Leverkusen at home, Villa at home, and Real Madrid at home. I think Villa might be on the road. But anyway, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton twice, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Villa, and Real Madrid. That is a brutal October and November. So if you think that they hadn't been tested yet, they're about to be. But I have a feeling that they're going to be pretty good, bro. How do you like your team so far?
I like it. You know, I like defense, and we've allowed 2 goals in the Premier League. It's absolutely wonderful. Van Dijk has been just an absolute general back there. Nothing gets past him, and it's been just lovely to watch. I wish we scored a few more goals. Be pretty cool if we scored a few more goals, but when we keep them to 0-1 goals, it's always great. So I think we're looking good. Definitely going to get tested with a lot more offensive firepower, obviously. But we'll see how we stack up. And I think we can stack up with them. We can swing. We'll bang with the best of them, and we'll see how we do, man. I'm getting excited too.
I'm excited for those because October, November. So obviously babies come in end of November. But I'm taking off all of November. So that Leverkusen Champions League match, I'm going to be off. We might just have to head on down to
BD Riley.
I think we might have to because that's going to be
what day is it?
Freaking awesome. I don't know. Danny P. Sorry, Danny P. Hook us up with the date of the Leverkusen Liverpool Champions League match.
Either
way,
somebody, honestly,
he probably did, but he'll get back to us on that. But either way, man, and then of course the Real Madrid one, that's going to be awesome. I think that one's towards the end of November too. So Daniel, go ahead and pull up the Madrid and Leverkusen versus Liverpool matches. We just need to know
11-5.
Is the Leverkusen?
Leverkusen. Even though it looks like May 11th to us, but
yeah,
11-5 is for them.
Okay,
so November 5th.
And Madrid must be like mid-November then, or towards the end.
Yeah.
Either way, when you're in the Champions League, like, yeah, you want to get further, but like as a fan of the team in there, you want to see them play these games, right? Like Leverkusen, Liverpool, that is blockbuster stuff. I'm excited. I can't wait. My first favorite victor and my second favorite victor are going to be playing against each other.
That's right. Yeah, that's
right. Okay, next thing we got to talk about is United. United feel like they're about to get rid of Ten Hag. And I'm still not sure why they kept him around in the first place. Over the summer, there's a lot of talk. We talked about it in the previews for this season about what's the point of keeping him if they don't like him, and they were already allegedly they were looking for other coaches. But the results haven't been good. They kept him on, haven't been good, and they haven't won a match since September 17th. And don't get me wrong, a draw away at Villa Park isn't a bad result. I think it's the full picture that we're talking about. Like, everything that goes into this is telling me that this isn't going to be a team that's going to go very far. I mean, it's not self-deprecating, but Spurs don't seem to be the team that is going to be great this season. I want to cry, but they beat the shit out of Manchester United. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is this team? What they're supposed to be really good all the time, apparently, to their fans, but they're just not. And I really see that they're going to be I can see them making a change, is what I'm trying to say. I don't really think that they're at a point where they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Let's stick with this the whole season, right? We're in freaking beginning of October, and this doesn't end until May. So yeah, if it does come time for it, I think that it would be sooner rather than later. How do you feel about that?
I agree with you. I don't like talking about Man U, but it's all right. We'll see what happens though. It's been fun watching them this year for me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's been fun watching Everton and Spurs too. Yeah.
Yes, been great.
Okay.
Pretty good.
All right. Yeah. So United, get it together, man. They haven't been a great team for a few years now. Okay. I think we've said it all. Let's move on down to the Bundesliga. Okay, let's move over. Let me get my notes here. On Friday, Augsburg and Gladbach went head-to-head on to figure out who's staying above the relegation battle, and Augsburg stopped their losing streak at 2 games as they get all 3 points here with a 2-1 win over Gladbach. Freiburg needed a bounce-back game after an embarrassing 3-0 defeat to St. Pauli last week, and they got it with a 1-0 win over Bremen. Union Berlin get a statement win in their early season success with a 2-1 win against Dortmund. Union looks like a place to go to watch a match. Let me tell you, if you watch the highlights of this one, I don't even know how to explain it. Just like you could feel the energy through the freaking screen. I've never thought about going to a Union Berlin match. Berlin sounds fun too. I mean, good city. Daniel knows what kind of music I like from Berlin. If he was on, he'd be laughing. That was a good joke. Inside joke that nobody gets, and it's dumb. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go. I know. Let's go to Union Berlin and check out a match soon. Wolfsburg gets a routine win over Bochum 3-1, which is just what they needed after a bad run of form. And in what was probably the shock result of the Bundesliga weekend, Leverkusen and hosting Kiel finished 2-2 at Leverkusen. It felt like Leverkusen were dominant the whole match, kind of like the Liverpool match. But in this case, they didn't get the win, and they had to split the points. St. Pauli could not keep the good vibes flowing as they lose to Mainz 3-0 at home. Check out the backwards header in this one. It was pretty crazy. Like, when I say backwards header, just picture it. He's not facing the goal, and he's heading to the goal. It's insane. Sunday, we saw Leipzig beat Heidenheim 1-0 in a match that felt like it could have been 3 or 4-0, but it was not. And we had a blockbuster on Sunday featuring the 2 top-of-the-table teams. One of them was Bayern, which, yeah, that checks out. And the other was Eintracht Frankfurt. Check them out. They've been great this season. This one ends 3-3, and the energy was freaking cranked up to the max. We'll talk about this one more later. And the final match of the Bundesliga match day 6 was Stuttgart just about saving themselves from an embarrassing home loss to Hoffenheim as Demirovic parries in his blocked penalty in the 98th minute. This one in Stuttgart 1, Hoffenheim 1. Thank you for saving those points, Demirovic. Okay, no. Vic, what's wrong?
I was ready, but sorry.
And now that my camera's back, let's go back to you, Vic, to tell us the table.
Welcome back, everyone. So at the table, no surprise, on very top, you'll see Bayern Munich with 14 points. A little bit of surprise, you'll see Leipzig there as well with 14 points. Right behind them is Eintracht Frankfurt with 13 points, and rounding out the top 4 is Freiburg with 12 points. Bayer Leverkusen, actually in the 5th spot with 11 points. Something I guess they're kind of not really used to, but I think they'll fight up back in there and be at the top of the table here pretty soon. At the very bottom of the table, you'll find Holstein Kiel at the second with 2 points. Not at the second spot, second to last though. Was at 17th, and in very last with 1 measly point, Bochum holding up the rest of the table. Trying to break out of their funk and at least get a win, but we'll see as we go forward. Back to you, Adam. Let's see if you can keep the camera rolling.
Whoa, government name? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Back to you, Snooze.
It's all good. My alter ego is broken now. People know me. Okay, well, Bochum, unfortunately, they're going to be on that bottom of the table for a while. Some talking points that we have here. Let's talk about Eintracht. I think we have to give them their flowers, as we say. Let me change my mic here. There we go. Eintracht have been great this season. They look like the real deal, at least 6 matches in. And honestly, that match that they played against Bayern gave me FOMO. It's like I wanted to be there, and I think we'll have to go there. We'll have to put that Union Berlin and Eintracht got to be on the bucket list now. With the other places we want to go, there's a lot of places. We just need to move there. One of the things I wanted to talk about, though, specifically about Eintracht, is that Omar Marmoush, he's on a freaking hot streak. He is hot in the streets. The last season, he played 29 matches last season for Frankfurt, and he had 12 goals and 6 assists in 29 matches. This season, only 6 matches in, he already has 8 goals and 4 assists. And he is Egyptian, and I don't even know another Egyptian forward that plays nearly as good as this guy. He might be the best Egyptian in the world.
Okay, you're trying to piss me off. All right, okay, I get it.
All right, yeah,
I should have seen that coming a mile away. That's my fault. You didn't. That's my fault.
I'm good at what I do. That'd be pissing you off. All right. And in this one, Bayern will be fine. I think that they aren't going to be the juggernauts like we saw a few matches ago, where they were just destroying everybody. But if you look at it, Olise looks like he's starting to gel with the squad. Company seems like he's going to be competent, but maybe just not the world beater that we thought they were. And yeah, I mean, all the summer noise about him having a horrible team, we'll see. I don't know what the expectations were going into this season. Is it that they're going to win everything like they usually do, or do they give him some slack? I don't know. We'll see. But from the outside looking in, they're doing great. And I mean, they're right up at the top. So yeah, they're going to be good for a long time. The other team that we're talking about is Leipzig. And they must have heard us talking, because we were talking about how they were coming into their easy match streak, right? That they can rattle off a few wins and get back to the top of the table. And then they had back-to-back 0-0s, and we were just kind of like, all right, well, they're not going to be there. But I think even though they still don't have a point in the Champions League, which we'll talk about here in a second, they are cruising in the Bundesliga. And the crazy thing is that their attacking threats, Sesko, Simmons, Opinda, they haven't really got it going. Like they're good, and we know they're good. We've seen them on the national stages. I don't know why it took so much to get out of there. But their defense has been stepping up in the meantime. They're kind of like the Liverpool, except they're not scoring goals, of the Bundesliga. They have allowed only 2 goals in 6 matches in the Bundesliga, and those 2 came in their win against Leverkusen. So even when they're giving up those goals, they won that match back on August 31st. That's how long ago that someone has scored on them in the Bundesliga. For reference, the other top 4 teams, Bayern, Freiburg, the other top 4 teams, Bayern and Freiburg have allowed 7 goals, and Frankfurt has allowed 9 goals, and they've allowed 2. So if they find their shooting boots anytime soon, as they say, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. And you know how it is. Whenever you have a team that's kind of built on the defense, if you get that offense going just a little bit, you're going to start wrecking shop, if you will. Is that a still saying? Do people say wreck shop still? I don't know why I said that.
We'll bring it back.
I guess so. From the 2000s.
2000.
Yeah, I don't know when's the last time I heard that. I don't even know why I said that. I'm just be saying shit sometimes. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about here for the Bundesliga. It's an international break, so of course not going to be a lot to talk about soon, but we'll have something fun for you. We'll cook something up for you. We owe y'all a few episodes. So, okay. Well, I think with that, let's move on to the UEFA competitions. Whoa, my screen got real bright. I'm sorry, guys.
Right.
Yeah. Let me see if I can figure that out.
Yeah, he's dark mode, old man.
I
Come on.
know. Golly. Let's see. Okay. Let me just do it this way. That was embarrassing. All right.
All right, we worked through it. We're professionals.
Yes, we're professionals here. Okay, so let's start with the Champions League. We'll do the results there, and I don't know.
I'm still doing it.
Sorry, I know. Yeah, it's all good. It's a live show. What can we do? Here we go. Okay. Yep. Here we go. We're gonna start with the Champions. No. We're gonna switch it up. Fuck it. I'm already on the Champions League. Sorry, guys. Is that you got your good to go? Yeah. Thanks, Daniel. Sorry, I messed you up, Danny P. Okay. For the Champions League. So Champions League is a little bit different this year. We talked about it where they're having a Super League, if you will. And so we had a match day 1 already, and now let's cover match day 2. On match day 2 on the Tuesday, we had Salzburg lose to Brest 4-0. Wow, a little bit lopsided, if you will. Stuttgart and Sparta Praha go 1-1. Stuttgart. This was the match that I was hoping they were going to get the result in. Dortmund beat Celtic 7-1. PSV and Sporting draw 1-1. Slavan Bratislava lose to Manchester City 4-0, which probably isn't bad. Barcelona take care of Young Boys 5-0. I love Young Boys. And Leverkusen beat Milan 1-0. Inter beat Red Star Belgrade. Crvena Zvezda 4-0. We had Arsenal and PSG. Arsenal beat PSG 2-0. And that was it for Tuesday. Moving on to Wednesday, we had Shakhtar Donetsk lose to Atalanta 3-0. Girona lost to Feyenoord 3-2. Club Brugge beats Sturm Graz 1-0. Aston Villa, this is the match of the freaking whatever you want to call it, match day. Aston Villa and Bayern Munich. Bayern lose at Aston Villa at Villa Park, and that place was freaking bumping. They lose 1-0. Dinamo Zagreb and Monaco go 2-2 after Monaco just beat Barcelona. Soccer doesn't make sense. Benfica beat Madrid 4-0. Liverpool, what does make sense is they keep on winning. They take care of Bologna 2-0. Leipzig lose to Juventus 3-2. And check out that last goal. It was amazing. We posted it on our socials. I couldn't believe it. I'll just leave it at that. Go check it out. And Lille, they beat Real Madrid 1-0. Insane. Things are crazy. That's why they do these competitions, and that's why they're so fun. Vic, I know there's a big, giant table. You want to talk to us about it a bit?
Yeah, we could talk about it. We don't have it or anything like that, or I don't think we have a graphic for it, but
we will sooner or later.
Yeah, well, basically all the undefeated teams. I don't know who's first or second or third. I think Liverpool's like 5th or something like that, but yeah, I don't really have it, Adam. That's pretty.
Oh, that's fine.
Nope.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I threw you under the bus there. But what I will say is that it's kind of hard to tell like any of this information as far or take any information from these games because there's going to be so many match days. And really what I've heard, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but match day teams that are ranked 1 through 8, it's kind of like doesn't matter where you're ranked. As long as you're in that top 8, you're getting an automatic bye week, if you will, like in NFL terms. And then those middle ones, the middle table, if you will, they're going to be the ones that are playing out that wild card round. I only know, we're Americans here, okay? Wild card round makes sense to us, but yeah. So, and then the bottom of the table, they're just kind of going home. So it's going to be a whole lot of teams going back and forth, up and down, especially whenever you look at some of the results that are happening early. But it's going to be fun. I mean, I know there's been a whole lot of, I don't even know the best word for it, but there's been a lot of issues, mostly with some of the teams in from the Bundesliga. They're, having tifos and different things that are pretty much saying like, this is all for money. We're just doing more matches. You don't care about the players. You just care about the money, which, yeah, makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. But either way, we're here to talk about them, and they're going to be fun matches. And, when you get games like we got, then, yeah, that's why you do this. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
Well, let me redeem myself while you gather your feelings. Dortmund are actually in number 1. I'll give you the top 8 just so we know who would be getting that bye week that we call. Dortmund, Brest, Benfica, Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Juventus, and Man City are the top 8. So they would be getting that bye week that we call. And everybody else in the wild card round would be Inter, Sparta Praha, Atalanta. It's going to be a long list. There's a lot of people in this list. I won't go through all of them, but at least those top 8 are actually who's going to be getting the bye round into the knockout stages. So, yeah, it looks good. Unfortunately, your young boys are at the very bottom. They, I know you love them. You love
my young boys.
Yeah, they're at the very bottom. But some of the notable not in the top 8 teams that we have: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Arsenal. Those are some pretty notable teams that are not in the top 8 getting that bye week. So this is a pretty tough competition. Those are some big names. Stuttgart aren't even in the top.
Okay.
24, so
that was a low blow there.
Right. Tough competition. So it's going to be pretty fun to watch. A lot of people are against it, but you're going to be watching it.
Yeah, of course you're going to be watching it. And I think the thing that I noticed is that, so we'll talk about the Europa League real quick. Want to switch it? Yep, here we go. So in the Europa League, if you look at the teams that are in that competition, they bumped more up from that would have been in the Conference League last year. So the competition in Europa League, while it's not obviously the quality of the Champions League, there's still a lot of really damn good teams in it. But that means that the Conference League, I mean, I've watched a lot of European soccer in my days. There are some teams that I've never heard of. And you know how it is. You play FIFA all the time too, right? Like there can't be a team that you don't know of that, like that many teams, right? No, there's a lot in there. And we'll talk about them here in a second. But the Europa League first. Let's see. Let me get my note up here. Okay. Europa League, we had Midtjylland and Tel Aviv. Midtjylland wins 2-0. Real Sociedad falls to Anderlecht 2-1. Real Sociedad, they are just having a disappointing freaking season. Don't know what's going on. Olympiacos beat Braga 3-0. Hoffenheim beat Dinamo Kiev 2-0. Karabag lose to Malmo 2-1. Lazio beat Nice. Our Lazio beat Nice 4-1. RFS and Galatasaray go 2-2. Sparta Prague, our Sparta Praha, they tie Ajax 1-1. I said tie. That was weird. I never said that. Ferencváros lose to Tottenham 2-1. It was a great game. They took everything from us, though, because we lost the next one. Elfsberg, they beat Roma 1-0. Porto and Manchester United go 3-3. Bilbao beat Alkmaar 2-0. Victoria Pilsen, they draw 0-0 with Ludogorets. And fun story about Pilsen, we went there on our way from Prague to Munich, and we had some beer in Pilsen and a Pilsner, where it's from. Pretty cool.
This little pub? Was it a pub? I don't know what it was, but
yeah,
pretty nice.
Good food.
Bistro place. Yeah.
Well, good food that was our first time, our first week there. After 2 weeks of the same food, you kind of get tired of it. Ask Vic.
Yes, I was ready to fight someone. We'll go into that story sometime. But yeah,
that's another thing. Lyon beat Rangers 4-1. Twente and Fenerbahce go 1-1. Besiktas lose to Frankfurt 3-1. We told you Frankfurt's a freaking machine. PAOK and FCSB. That one goes to FCSB 1-0. And Saint Gallen, that's a tough one to say. They go 0-0 with Glimt. And that is it for Europa League. And Vic, do you want to do the table? We don't have to.
Yeah. I'll go through them real quick. Just at least top 8. Lazio, our number 1. Right behind them is Lyon, and the third spot is Tottenham, doing good down there in that Europa League. Number 4, I don't even know FCS.
So that's so demeaning. He's like doing it down there.
Number 4. This is a tough league, I promise. Number 4, FCSB. Number 5, Anderlecht. 6 is Ajax, 7 Eintracht Frankfurt, and 8 Galatasaray. Galatasaray. Yeah, sure. Notable teams that are not in the top 8. Manchester United are in 21st spot, so they're still fighting for the playoffs. But again, not in that top 8. They've been kind of underwhelming. Notable teams that are just behind there: Slavia Praha, number 10. We've seen them play. Atleti or Bilbao as number 11, right behind them. Hoffenheim behind them in 12. And some teams that are not even in the playoff or just a bye round to the next round. Roma's number 27 right now, just outside of 24, and number 25 is Real Sociedad, not even getting the chance to go on to the next round. So
That's crazy.
And yeah, we gotta see how it turns out, because that's pretty surprising.
2 match days in, obviously got a lot of games to play, but that's crazy. There's no reason why Roma and Real Sociedad, but we talk about them every week, right? They're Roma, the team that's disappointing the most in Serie A. Real Sociedad and La Liga, I mean, they're starting to get better, but you give them a point. They're not doing great. And in the Conference League, like I was saying, a lot of teams here. I'm going to go over just a couple of the ones that we talk about in their leagues mostly. But Heidenheim, it's match day 1 here because they started a week late. Conference League match day 1, Heidenheim, their first European match, they beat Olympia 2-1. How cool is that? Way to go, Heidenheim. I don't know why I feel so proud. I'm trying to have nothing to do with that team, but I'm just like, yeah, they get it. One that sticks close to my heart is Hearts of Midlothian. They beat Dinamo Minsk 2-1. If you're wondering why I like Hearts, they're from Edinburgh, and Edinburgh's a beautiful place, and that team's from there. Legia Warsaw beat Real Betis 1-0. Betis, what is you doing? What is going on? And then let's see, Chelsea beat Ghent 4-2. Our Fiorentina beat the New Saints. That's their name, 2-0. And that's really it. Copenhagen lose to a team that I've never heard of, 2-1. And that's pretty sad. Copenhagen, usually a pretty good team. And that's it for the Conference League. And Vic?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you want to try to do this table. That would be, those names are insane.
I will take your lead and go over the teams that we know. Yeah. Our Fiorentina are in the 8th spot. Chelsea is actually in the 6th spot. I'll give a shot at the number 1 team just because they're number 1. They earned it. Cercle Bruges. Cercle Bruges.
Cercle Bleu.
Cercle Bleu.
My bleu.
At the number 1 spot. They earned it. We'll give you a little shout out there. In the 13th spot is Heidenheim. Double H that you want to keep calling them.
Double H.
And I think the only other one that you noted that we kind of already chastised was Real Betis at the 26th spot, not even going on to the playoffs and not in the next round. So,
yeah,
the ones we know. I'll keep the rest to your research at home.
Yeah, the way that they're doing these tables now, it's making it a little bit. I don't even know the word.
It's a lot of
like teams. It's lean, if you will.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. But either way, they're fun matches, and that's kind of the fun part. Is like, so Spurs played Ferencváros in the Europa League, and I wouldn't know who that is or how to say their name other than the fact that that's the team that we saw play against Fiorentina whenever we saw the Conference League there. So it's a lot of fun no matter who's playing. And the games are always good. The atmospheres are amazing. So even though we don't know these teams, there's always a yet, right? Because they get far in these competitions. You don't know them yet, but they might be going off soon. Okay. I think we covered it all, Vic. We finally got through it all. Camera issues, eye, blood, and everything. We made it to the end. Anything else we need to discuss or that we haven't? I can't think of anything.
No. Say your prayers, put in your good thoughts. Allison Becker got injured. My boy.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he got injured. He's going to be out for a few weeks. He's probably going to miss Brazil's World Cup qualifiers. But, that's just me personally. Keeping your thoughts.
I saw him make I almost put a note for real that he's the reason why y'all stayed in the game in the first place. Because he made 3 or 4 shots. I mean, not that there was a lot of them, but he was making great stops. I didn't know he got hurt.
He got hurt his hamstring. So I think Arne Slot said he was going to be out for a few weeks. So that would take over the Brazilian World Cup qualifiers. Yeah,
you might, only win 5 games while he's out instead of 6 with him in. You know what I mean? Poor y'all. Everton, hopefully they continue things going, continue the way that things are going. They're starting to go on the uptick, if you will. I don't think they've lost in a couple matches, so that's a good thing for them,
Start.
And yes, and Spurs, let's get it together. We can't put together a string of results. It's like win one, draw, and lose. Win one, draw. It's annoying. But European competitions are here, so we get to rotate and see some players we usually don't get to. We do because we're in the Europa League. The elite competition in Champions League, you have to play your better players. So I don't know if that's better for me. Anyway, we thank you guys for checking us out, and we hope that you had fun. And if you have anything else that you want to say about these, please let us know, because again, you know your teams better than we do. We're just telling you what happened. So Vic, take us home.
Again, appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on all social medias. We're either at No Business Soccer Podcast or at No Biz Soc Pod on Twitter or X, if that's what you prefer. We want to know what you guys think. As Snoo said, let us know in the comments if you have any questions or we just got something way off or anything. Definitely let us know. We'll see y'all again here pretty shortly in some shorts. And don't forget to get your pets spayed or neutered. We'll see you.